Alrighty, so today we are back, and today we are going to be doing another installment of the top 10 LRs in Dokkan Battle as of June 20th, 2025. Now, the last update we did for this was the release of Kale and Caulifla, and not too many things have changed with this list, but we did get a new player in the system, and that is STR LR Tien. And Tien, he's a dog, right? Really good character. Not the most exciting thing in the world. I know people are not dying to, summon for a Tien. In the Should You Summon video, we were pretty adamant against summoning for that character. But if you did get lucky on the tickets, you were rewarded with a very, very good LR. So you guys know how we do these things. First and foremost, this is just my opinion. It's just to bring up the discussion, and I don't see myself as the all-knowing eye, right? If you guys disagree with me, that is completely okay. Just remember to be respectful of others in the comment section below if you are going to disagree with them. So keep that in mind, and keep in mind also that not all of these characters are being evaluated at the 100% best possible level, because that is not the way that I play the game at the moment. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, the first thing that we are going to be doing in this video is dividing them into tiers. And then the second thing we're going to be doing after we put them in the tiers is sort of doing a 1 to 10. Now, this is just so we can give you guys a good idea of, like, if a character's in the S tier, it doesn't mean that they're really bad. Every single character on this list is an extremely good unit that has uses in one way or another. So with that long intro out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be doing this in a couple batches here. So the first thing that what I want to go over is the S tier. Right now, the first character in the S tier, I don't know if we have any on A now that I'm thinking about it, but in the S tier, we have our boy Great Ape Vegeta. I think that Great Ape Vegeta is an extremely well-designed character, especially after he got his Easy A. This character has very good defensive capabilities, and especially when you pair him up alongside Super Saiyan 4 Goku, you are just going to be noticing that this guy is very tough to get through with his damage reduction, right? The damage reduction and guard that he has is all just going to be very consistent. His intro buff is not the most impossible thing to get, right? There are some Goku bosses in the game, especially in fights like the Seriously Serious battle, whatever the hell that event's called, right? That is going to be 2 Goku bosses at the moment, so this is where you can get some value for this guy with the damage reduction. So when you have a Super Saiyan 4 Goku support, you're going to have 70% damage reduction and guard in slot 1. Very tough to get through that, right? But if you get locked or something and potentially you cannot put him in slot 1, this is where this character can potentially let you down. Now, what people like to kind of view this character as is a Beast Gohan light. And honestly, I can understand that vision, right? I think that there is some validity to that. Or just like the more modern Beast Gohan, I guess would be the better way of putting it. With the modern Beast Gohan, right? With just I personally have this guy at 69%, so I don't really know if I agree with that notion there that I would have him as high up as S. Or not as S, but as high up as Beast Gohan, at least in terms of how he works for me, because Beast Gohan is rainbowed and can operate in that same facet. But I think that this Vegeta is a very solid character. I don't have any complaints about him, aside from locking could potentially be a bit of an issue with this guy if you can't keep him in slot 1 and keep that damage reduction. But overall, I really like the way that he's designed. He has the access to a giant form, so that transformation is always going to be clutch. And he just fulfills a slot 1 role on teams that need it, and slot 1 characters are always going to be extremely valuable. So that is why I have him in the S tier. So let's move on to the next character that I have in the S tier, and that is going to be one of the 2 new LRs in the game, and that is going to be our girls Kale and Caulifla. Now, Kale and Caulifla, it's tough to sort of evaluate where I have this character. I'd say like in the 1 to 10 range. I probably have them on the lower end of things, maybe like 9 to 10, right? But what I do like about this character is the ability to get easy access to dodge, the ability for damage reduction, the orb changing that they have, the ability to have the reverse exchange into Kale, just a lot of different things this character is doing, the ability to have guard. Kale is one of the tankier characters in the game, so you know she can hold it down for you and do a very good job of being defensive, right? I think offensively, they're okay, right? And with the super attack effects and stuff like that, not stacking with Kale, not really going to be a Festival of Battles murderer, but if we go back to Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla, right, you are going to have a couple different things, right? No abilities to stack, at least in terms of the super attack, so that can be a bit annoying. But again, if you link them up with like the Tech Kale and Caulifla, you are going to be able to get some pretty good usage out of this character. And overall, I just like what they bring to the table. I think that they have everything that you're really going to need for like a solid LR in the game right now. And that is sort of where I have Kale and Caulifla, right? Like borderline top 10, just missing it, right? or just making the bottom of the top 10. And overall, I think that's pretty good, right? If you're a top 10 LR at this state of the game where there's so many good characters running around right now, I think that that is a pretty positive sign for you. So that's where we're going to be putting Kale and Caulifla. I think an S is going to be a good spot for them. Let's go ahead and move on to the next guy that I have in the S tier, and that is going to be Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Now, I'll kind of loosely rate this so in case people miss it and skip ahead a little bit, but Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? Not too much to be upset about with this guy. I'm just trying to find the tab that I pulled him up in. Where are you at, my dude? I am all over the place. Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I have the tabs open here. I don't think did I not open him up? I guess I didn't, huh? Okay, well, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? We can, while I'm talking, we'll get this here. But Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? The ability that he has for his support, you guys know how that works at this point. His ability to stack, he's very good in the Festival of Battles. He's decent in short form content. I like his sort of ability that you can often rely on his ability to dodge, right? Especially on that first turn. Is it the best ability to dodge in the world? No, but is it usable? Can it like come in clutch? A lot of the times it is, right? Especially in stuff like Battle Hard and Formidable Foes. You put him in slot 1 because especially if you're running like the modern 10-year anniversary team, sometimes what'll happen is you'll get caught with this guy, and then the Super Saiyan Goku or Super Saiyan Vegeta from the 10-year LRs, right? And then you don't really have a slot 1 character, and you're forced to put this guy into slot 1, and then you're just relying on the dodge, right? Sometimes it's going to lose you the run when he doesn't dodge. It ends up taking too much, but you have to do what you have to do. Not only is this guy going to have his own ability to be clutch with his guard, with his ability to evade, he's also going to be giving power beyond Super Saiyan category allies defense plus 50%. And if you don't know, 2 of the best units in the game, the Year 7s, are going to be on that category. So not only is Super Saiyan 4 Goku giving support, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is giving support, you have access to a giant form. The worst part about this character to me is having to watch the animation every time. Really, that's what it comes down to. Now, I think that in this mode here, he could have been like a little bit better defensively in the Festival of Battles. I think it's like you could stack with this character a decent bit, and he's usable in there 100%. But especially in the no item run, you definitely can get caught in that last phase, even if your defense is like immensely high, right? It's just you have to stack so much, especially at 55%, which I would assume most of the player base has this character at if they have him. It's tough, right? Now, again, this character is phenomenal. I wish he would have been a little bit better for slot 1, but again, it's going to be okay because I think that his team, Giant Ape Power, is going to get a lot better here soon. But overall, I really like this character. I think he is number 5 in my opinion right now. We'll kind of get more into that a little bit later. But really like what this Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4 Goku brings to the table. Really have nothing to complain about with the character. Wish he could have been a little bit better, but not by much, right? Overall, he's phenomenal. Really have nothing but good things to say about him overall. So really like this character. Let's go ahead and move on. And now this is going to be kind of fun because we get to talk about the new character, which is going to be LR Tien. Now with our boy Tien, love the way they designed this character. This is exactly what he needed to be for anyone to really feel incentivized to summon on the banner. I have used him a little bit now, right, in terms of I've had a couple days to sort of get my feet wet using the character, and overall I think he is amazing, right? His leader skill, very good. Not going to be counting that too much in terms of who's better, who's worse. The intro animation, just always going to have it, is super clutch, right? The ability to have the support, having the damage reduction right away, very clutch stuff. And then once we get that, we have the damage reduction that moves around. Always going to be having some decent damage reduction with this character. And then you can cheese the active skill with this guy in slot 2 and then put him back into slot 1, and you're going to have a whole bunch of these effects, right? So we're going to have dodge chance. We have attacks effective against all types. We have damage reduction, right? We have support. This is exactly what we're looking for in a solid LR. Now, when it comes to stacking, we're going to be stacking our attack here on the 18 key. So this guy's going to have some marginal usage in the Festival of Battles on the offensive side of things, but the defensive side of things can be a little bit tricky for him, I think, but at least we do have the damage reduction and the ability to dodge and stuff like that, right? So overall, I think that this guy really plays a very important role on a lot of teams. Final Trump card and Earthlings really needed it, and his leader skill is solid, right? Final Trump card 200%. This is a big boy team, right? You look at like the second best unit in the game, the third or fourth best unit in the game, the second best unit, like the third or fourth, fifth best unit in the game, right? The best unit in the game on here. There's just a lot of really good characters. Kale and Caulifla, like you could easily run the double Tien team, I think, in the Festival of Battles, and you wouldn't have too much of an issue. It might be a little bit tricky defensively for Tien against that Gogeta phase, I would say, but overall, really not too bad whatsoever when it comes to like how we're looking at what this Tien's able to do. So huge fan of how they designed this Tien. I don't think he's Z tier, but he is definitely high S. I think overall we'd probably put him around like the 6 range is probably where I'd put this Tien. I am extremely impressed with what I've seen from Tien so far. So with that being said, let's move on to the next character in the S tier, which is going to be our boy Broly. Now, Tech Broly, we've talked about him a gazillion times on this channel. You guys know how Broly is operating at this point, right? If you don't, really high damage reduction right off the bat, right? 90%. Giving support to everybody. You know, if you really need that invincible turn 1, you're going to have this with this Broly. But if you think you can forego that invincibility and you don't need the support, you could transform into the Tech Broly right away, get access to his active skill a little bit earlier, for that way you can get the extra key. That's always been sort of my biggest complaint with this Tech Broly, right? Especially that first turn when you're in Legendary Super Saiyan, I've had a little bit of trouble with key, and sometimes that 24 key is not always going to be a guarantee for you, right? You really want to get that 18 key, especially when you're facing multiple enemies. It's just going to help you, right? Being able to stack your attack, get the AoE in, having that 24 key is always going to be nice, right? Because you're always going to, when you're at 24 key, you're going to get an enemy action interruption, right? And that's really clutch, right? What if it's an AoE? What if it's a super? What if it's a heal, right? What if that super isn't doing any damage, but it seals somebody, right? It's always nice to be able to break that. And you never know when that's going to be like extremely clutch. And where I really think that this guy shines is still going to be his performance in like battle hard or formidable foes. I don't really want to count Super Battle Road, right? But like shorter red zone stages, areas where you can take this guy and you know you're going to be able to A, reset his intro buff, right? Or his first couple turn damage reduction, or B, a fight that you know is going to be over in those 5 to 6 turns, that you're really going to be looking to have this Broly at his maximum effectiveness, right? It's the same thing with Beast Gohan, where if you know the fight can go 8 turns, you're going to be good. But the thing is, a lot of modern fights are either in the Festival of Battles format where, you know, you're going 70 turns, or you're thinking about like the red zone stages against like Jiren and such, and these are going to be like 15 turn fights. So overall, this Broly is still very effective in a lot of the content that the game has to offer, but overall, I think that he has kind of dipped a little bit. Not to a point where he's bad, but I probably would put him like a little bit lower than I have on previous lists, probably around like the 8 to 10 range, right? So still a very good character, big fan, but that is where I have him right now. And I guess we can just segue that into the next Broly that we're going to be talking about, and that is going to be the Int one right here. Now, Int Broly, right? Very similar case where you want his domain up and then he's just very defensive. He has the ability to stun. That is really what it's coming down to for me. It's just being able to work through his domain, especially in short form content. This guy is going to be an absolute workhorse for you, being able to chain both of his domains if you're running 2 of them. Just going to be very nice. You have a clutch revive. You have the ability to heal with orbs. Really like the way that this character is working. You have the damage reduction. You have the guard with the domain up. And again, you're going to be able to run 2 of these so you can have essentially a good, what, like 8 turns of having the Not the Day Village domain up. So very good stuff, right? For 3 turns, excuse me. So 6 turns of the Not the Day Village. And in the case of a fight like Battle Hard Formidable Foes, this is going to be basically the whole fight, right? You're not really going past 6 turns in Battle Hard and Formidable Foes. And if you are, you're just not running a proper team, right? The HP inflation was not too crazy on that event. Definitely not like the red zones that we've seen, the one against Goku and Vegeta, right, from the Goku and Vegeta story. Those ones are crazy HP, right? We're talking like, I think it's like 2 billion, something like that. Just crazy HP, but Battle Hard Formidable Foes, that's not really going to be the case. And I think that's really where this guy's bread's going to be buttered. So huge fan of this character, really have nothing too bad to say. Just not really a long event sort of style character, and that is all right. Now, the last character I'm going to be putting in the S tier is going to be our boy Beast Gohan. I'd probably put him about right here. Beast Gohan, we've talked about him a bazillion times on the channel. You guys know how I feel about him. He's got a lot of offense, he's got a lot of defense, right? A lot of damage reduction and guard, the ability to support with ki, the ability to have his taunt. Still overall a solid character. And then the last 2 characters, I'm not really going to be talking about them too much because they would be a little bit more honorable mention style, will be Gotenks and Pikkon. Really big fan of both of the characters. Just missing the boat just a tad. right? So that leaves 4 characters for the Z tier, and you guys know who they are at this point. It's all just the same story when it comes to our Z tier characters. We've got Vegito. You guys know everything about how Vegito works at this point, I'm sure, but we'll pull him up anyway because it's fun to talk about this character because he is absolutely nuts. This is the best offensive character in the game's history. It's not even close in terms of the amount of damage this guy can do, the ability to have his taunt, the damage reduction, the guard, the high defensive stat, the building up counters that are doing more damage than what it shows on the screen by a considerable amount. And really just this guy's APT is like over 1 billion, right? And that's pretty damn crazy. And I'm not really like you've heard, this is the only time I'm really going to mention APT just because it's fun with this Vegito, just because of how much more substantially the offensive number is for what this guy is doing. So still Vegito, you guys know, number 1, still the king of the game here. Now, when it comes to short events, sometimes it could be a little bit tricky, right? Like you take a slot 1 super with this guy, you're probably not going to win, or you're probably just going to lose the fight then and there. But he does have his sort of counter side to that, where you have just extremely high damage reduction after that, right? Where you've got the 50% right here right away, the additional 20% when you're attacking, and then if you're in slot 2 or slot 3, you're going to also get that additional 20%. So if you're in slot 2, you have a slot 1 character to run alongside him, you're going to have that 90% damage reduction. Then you also have the ability to Patara break, which is going to be fun support for everybody if you do run the active skill. If we go right here, you guys can see it's going to give us a little bit of guard, going to give us attack and defense plus 18%, right? It's just an interesting way that you could think about it, right? With this Vegeta, because you're just doing some support, and it's like, I don't know why it's like, where is it at? Like some people like to say that the Patara break is good, but honestly, like I'm not using it a ton in my runs because most of the time I'm really just running like Festival of Battles or something. And it's just like, I mean, it's like, what do you want to do here? Do you want to break this and stay as Goku and Vegeta, or do you want to go into Vegito, right? Do you want to use this? It's like the SpongeBob thing with the circle, right? He's trying to draw the circle. Or do you want to use this, right? We're not talking about this. So yeah, we have Vegito here. You guys know how good this character is. Really, still the king of the game, in my opinion. Has nothing. It's like with Global Dokkan campaign coming up, that'll probably be the next time we do one of these, and that'll be a fun video. I don't know where we find like the common ground. Like, how do we get a character that's better than Vegito? And it really, to me, it comes down to that base form, right? It's like they just have to be better in base, and that's really the only way they're going to do that. But next up in the list here that we have, we got Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? The damage reduction on slot turn 1, right? And like just that 77%, and then turn 3 still can be a little bit of an issue. But when we transform into Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, especially in the Festival of Battles, it is game over. An absolute, like, whatever, like, the most dangerous weapon you can think of, like off the top of your head, that does a ton of damage to something, that's what the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's active skill is in that Festival of Battles, right? He has an active skill that feels like this guy, right? Like, not quite on that level, but a lot of damage, right? And he has the ability to counter supers. What really will kind of save you in the Daima phase, which is definitely like, for those of you who played the Festival of Battles a decent bit, you know that the make or break phase for the Festival of Battles is going to be that Daima phase. Do you get the Dokkan attack in there? Or if you don't get that Dokkan attack, the way you typically win in there is you either have to burn a taunt with Vegito, or you counter the supers with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? The absolute money spot for the Daima phase is Glorio and Goku Mini. They both super attack after Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta fuses, and then you can counter both of those supers guaranteed, right? Especially if they're at a certain HP threshold, and then you're going to be able to just absolutely blitz those two characters. Like, do your multiple 100 million attack stats, right? And then you're going to be able to counter with that, and then the number of a counter is not the true attack stat that's displayed on the screen, right? It's even higher than that. So this Gogeta is doing like a multiple 100 million counter, and if you get a crit, that means that basically Glorio or Goku Mini is just done right there, especially after they've supered. So this guy is extremely clutch in the way that you're going to be able to get through that Daima phase. Really helps sort of set up everything else, because really, in my experience of Festival of Battles, unless you're doing a no item run, like once you're out of the Daima phase, you're kind of in the clear, right? I don't think that's like a hot take at this point, right? because the other two phases are just a little bit easier because of the charge limit, because of the type advantages some of these characters have, and that just really makes things a little bit easier. But not only, we're not done with just that, right? We have the damage reduction of 77%, the additional damage reduction when we're getting Rainbow Key Spheres. We've got the ability to guard. We have a permanent scouter, right? And a guaranteed additional, high chance to perform a crit. We're countering supers, right? Just so many things that this guy is doing well, and it really just kind of speaks to how good the character is. Now, we'll kind of move on to the other version of this character where they're just a little bit more dodge focused. So they do a bit more damage with their super attacks in my experience using them, because they just end up, sometimes you just end up seeing them do like 5, and especially in Festival of Battles, it's like, you know, 200 million, 145 million, 162 million, 170 million, 180 million. And if you're doing crits, you're just going absolutely bananas. But the issue with this guy is if you don't get the crit, like the rainbow orbs that you need, or you don't get the dodging, you could potentially lose. So that's where I find this character to be a little bit more useful. But that isn't to say that the LR gods are bad by any means. They have a very, very similar skeleton where they do get the damage reduction of 77% on that fusion turn. So they're essentially going to be unkillable, right? Especially with guard, 77% damage reduction. And especially in the Festival of Battles, when you've been stacking forever, you're just going to be in a really good spot, doing a whole bunch of additional super attacks, doing a ton of damage. And then just also bobbing and weaving everything. Really have nothing to complain about with this character. So really like the way that they are designed, and I'm trying to find our boys. Where's Gogeta at in here, right? So the last character we have to talk about before we start moving the order here, and I let you guys go. This is going to be our last discussion point here before we start going like who's better than who, right? But with Gogeta, you guys know at this point they have the Ghost Usher tech. And then you also are going to be able to fuse. You have the damage reduction with the rainbow orbs. You have the ability to do a triple super, triple crit, a lot of damage. And then when you do the active skill and you give Vegito his support, he's just a super insane battery for utility. Has a whole bunch of good stuff going, can still hold his own offensively, defensively. He's also providing support and is sort of the engine that makes Vegito go at the rate that he does. So that is how we are looking. Now, what we need to do is sort of reformat the tier list really quickly, 1 to 10. We're going to move everybody back down, and I'll be right back when we're going to start doing that. Okay, so we're going to go in a bit of a reverse order here. Usually don't do this, but at number 1, we have Tech Vegito. You guys know how this character works at this point. Not really much to talk about here. Still the undisputed king, in my opinion. At number 2, we have Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta that fuse into Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I like them a little bit better than AGL Gogeta at this point. I feel like they have a little bit more usage, especially in stuff like Festival of Battles. And their slot 1 ability in short form content, I do like a little bit more. But that isn't to say that they're much better or much worse, right? It's very close. If you want to argue someone a little bit higher, by all means, go ahead. But at number 3, I am going to be putting them right here. So that means at number 4, we are going to have this. So right now, this is my current Z tier. You guys know that. Really, just sort of what I like about this guy a little bit more is the fact that he's immune to debuffs and stuff like that when you fuse. And then also, I think he's just much more essential to getting the most out of this Vegito than the LR gods are, right? I like the linking partners a little bit better for like these 3 than I like for the gods. That doesn't mean that the gods are unusable by any means, but like AGL Vegito Blue is like their best linking partner, right? So that is sort of where things do get a little bit tricky. We got to get funky Cole Medina with these colors, don't we? Just so we can make things a little bit easier to see. But with this, the difference between the gods and Gogeta is not much. So it's like if you want to rank one a little bit higher than the other, I really don't have any issue with that. And it sort of just kind of comes down to I want to give you guys like, a 1 to 10, right? Where I think that it's like, the top 5, especially like the top 4 especially, are very, very close. Like it's really like night and day. Like you can get away with doing anything that you want in those spots, or not night and day, but like English is hard, all right? But like really, you don't have to get too freaky deaky about it. So I like this kind of order right here. But if you want to move someone up to 4, someone up to 3, I think that's completely fine. But at number 5, we have Super Saiyan 4 Goku. You guys know at this point how he works with the support that he's giving everybody and all that fun stuff. Really like the way that he's designed. I think he could have been a little bit better to be in that Z tier, but overall I think he is the class of the S tier, one of the best characters in the game, no doubt. So that leads into number 6, and at number 6 I'm going to be putting Tien. I think Tien's a dog. I really like where Tien's at right now. I think that his damage reduction, his offensive output, his defensive output, the support that he's going to be able to provide, very, very nice. If you're going to move him up or down a little bit, you can go ahead and do that, but this is where I like him right now. So that means coming in at number 7, we are going to have Grade Ape Vegeta. Going to move him up a little bit from the last tier list. I think Beast Gohan, I want to put him a little higher, but I'm going to put up Grade Ape Vegeta there. I just think he works a little bit better right now, but Beast Gohan, he'll be back. But at number 8, I'm going to put Beast Gohan. So you guys know I love Beast Gohan. He's my GOAT. So that means at number 9, I'm going to have this guy right here. And then at number 10, we are going to have Kale and Caulifla. So that is going to leave us with this right here. This is going to be the final product here for this version of the top 10 LRs in Dokkan right now as of June 20th, 2025. So let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think. I like this list. I think if you want to reorder a couple things, that's completely fine. But right now, this is where I am sitting. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you made it to this point, don't forget to leave an orange heart down below. Shows me that you watched the whole video. And I appreciate that you made it this far, or you just skipped to the end to see the top 10. If you did that, let me know what you think of the list. If you like it, if you don't like it, always let me know. Just remember to be respectful with others in the comment section below. If you want to be mean to me, go ahead. I can take it. But make sure you're nice to others in the comment section. So thank you guys for watching all the way up to this point. If you did enjoy, leave a like. Subscribe if you are new. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my Dokkan content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.